On your somatic healing and nervous system regulation journey, it's often a bit of a dance to begin exercising again. So I've come up with a great way to remember the steps to return to exercise, even if you've been experiencing chronic pain, chronic fatigue, panic, anxiety, or any other neuroplastic sensations. I'm Healing Wolf, a professional trauma, chronic pain, anxiety, and panic coach. And I'm here to guide you through the hell of recovery from neuroplastic conditions. I spent a year in bed, bedbound, many years recovering, and I learned the secrets that lifted me out of being completely dysfunctional and dysregulated. My nervous system was so dysregulated that there was a whole week I didn't sleep, and my chronic pain sensations were so intense that I could not sit or stand for over a year. So it was really interesting to find my way back to exercise. And so today I want to tell you how I took that voyage, and I'm going to use the word voyage to describe the steps of returning to exercise. I like to have a very nautical, oceanic theme for this, because you're really moving across an ocean on a healing odyssey. And that's something that makes you feel like you're an ancient hero. Odysseus is a great example of that, an ancient hero who crossed the ocean on a 10-year journey, facing cyclopses and a lot of other interesting sirens and storms and a lot of interesting stuff, so he could return home to a balanced and responsive nervous system, not reactive. So let's get into it. But after we learn this voyage technique that I'm going to teach you, I'm also going to give you a few suggestions at the end of the video of things that you can do to get back into exercise and possible exercises that help me a lot on my journey. So stick around to the end and I'll see you there. Okay, so voyage. We're going on a voyage to return to exercise, to return to movement. In the mind-body world, in the neuroplastic recovery and somatic healing world, the phrase movement is medicine often comes up. And it's so true, because movement sends us a safety signal to your nervous system. If you're moving, especially moving forward, it means there's no predator. It means you're engaging with life and you're active and you're stimulating all of these amazing systems in your muscles, in your whole body, and in your brain, so that your whole system feels like, yes, we're moving forward. It's like a tremendous safety yes. So the voyage, first part of returning to exercise, especially if you've been bedbound or have had really intense sensations to the point where you didn't feel safe until you got medically checked, which I highly recommend. And once you get medically checked and you know that these sensations, even the worst sensations I ever had in my life, were safe to exercise with, then you move forward. The first step is to close your eyes and do it with me for a moment and visualize yourself doing an exercise. So I'm visualizing myself doing a squat where I've got the weights on the bar, I feel the bar on my back of my neck, shoulders area, and I'm squatting down. I'm visualizing and I'm feeling my quads, my glutes with all that strength. My core is locked in a way that gives me some real solidity. I'm visualizing, and I'm visualizing myself doing some reps very slowly. So that's the first step, visualize. So even before you start to move and get back to exercise, lie down, sit down, however you feel comfortable, and visualize doing what you want to do. So if it's running, you visualize yourself running. If it's tennis, you visualize yourself swinging that racket and of hitting that ball and having it whirl over the net. So next, on voyage, VOYAGE. So this is an acrostic. Each letter of the word voyage spells a step. that you're going to take as you return to exercise. So the O, V is for visualize. Visualize, everybody. You do this for a week, for a couple weeks as you move into exercise, and then you can keep doing it afterward. There's a lot of research that shows that visualizing exercise is almost as powerful as exercise itself. So you can go online and look into that. The O in Voyage, the exercise Voyage, is you get on board with the idea that your body is okay. So the O stands for on board with the idea that your body is okay. And when you're on board with the idea that your body is okay, and these sensations are benign protection sensations, then it's okay to start moving. And you're moving with confidence. You're moving into what I call and what others call exercise snacks. They're short bursts of exercise or movement. You might get down on the floor and do some glute bridges. You might do a side plank. You might do a few push-ups. When I started my journey, I was doing one push-up very slowly. And now I don't know how many I can do. I go so slowly with my push-ups, and I do them up on dumbbells, so it's a little different than most. So the Y in Voyage is yes, saying yes to yourself. When I work out, I talk to my body, I talk to my muscles. When I am lifting, I say strength, I say power, I say mitochondria multiply. The mitochondria are giving me energy. And so I also say excellent work when I'm done with a set of curls, say, or dumbbell flies, whatever it is. Yes, you say yes to yourself, you say yes to exercise. So the A on Voyage is anchor. You're anchoring into full workouts, and you're anchoring into indifference and allowing of whatever happens around those workouts. They have a phrase that I like. It's called sore but safe. And I imagine physical therapists came up with this, maybe bodybuilders. You're sore when you work out, but you're safe. And if you've had chronic pain, you've had an overreactive nervous system. So it's good to know that that soreness is okay too. You're sore, but you're safe. You anchor into full workouts. You do as long as you want to do, 15 minutes to an hour, whatever. And you anchor with indifference. You don't care if you get a wave of sensations. You don't care if you sneeze as you're making videos. So the G in Voyage is you grow your mindset. Over about 6 weeks, as you work out regularly, your endocannabinoid receptors will increase in your brain. So you're growing your mindset, you're growing your endocannabinoid receptors. Endocannabinoid receptors are receptors that are responsive to cannabinoids that your own body and brain make to make you feel more pleasure. When your brain feels like you're getting a lot of intense sensation when you're working out, a lot of pain working out. They used to say no pain, no gain. It's kind of the same here. You're growing your mindset. You're growing your receptors. You're riding the waves of sensation that come. So you're growing as you ride these waves. So I got flares in the beginning, what I call recovery reactions. They would come in strong. I would know that I was okay. I was on board with that my body was okay. I was visualizing, saying yes, confidently anchoring into my workouts. And then the E in Voyage is endure. So you want to endure as you carry on this process of returning to exercise, returning to movement. Endure means you keep moving forward. You keep moving your body. You keep doing this voyage process. You rinse and repeat. You take a shower, you give it a few days, you get back to the workout. And you have that indifference from the anchoring into indifference stage or recommendation. You know you're okay, so you continue to return to the workout. You don't let a certain movement or a certain response make you afraid. The fear is what slows or stops this process of you returning to full mobility, full engagement with life, doing exercise in whatever way you want, whatever way you feel is healthy for you, within the parameters of within the parameters of, let's say, your current level of confidence. So even without a great deal of confidence, I would still talk myself into and through my workouts early on. So I promise you that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But first, if you please subscribe to my channel, it helps me get my message out there. And my mission is to help people out of hell. I went through such a hell, and nobody should have to go through that hell. So subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell, drop a comment. Thank you for that. On my voyage of returning to exercise and movement, I found that swimming was quite amazing. And I started out swimming really slow and swimming very gently and just enjoying the feel of the water. And I got intense sensations, but I would limit myself. I had these fear parameters. I was measuring how much I was doing. Then I would get out. I was at a rec center and I would go lay down in the sauna, and then I would get in the hot tub. And once I figured out that I felt better and better as time went on, and that stage of enduring, I would give myself 10 swims before I looked back. And that's something I wanted to mention before. You give yourself a long runway of moving forward before you even look back and evaluate, because this is a non-linear journey. What does that mean? I'll talk about that in another video. It means that workout 3 may have been easier than workout 6, but over time, the workouts are steadily getting easier as your confidence is growing. So swimming was huge for me. I hope that works for you. I went very slowly with my calisthenics. So as I mentioned earlier, I would do push-ups. One very slow push-up. Slow down. It may have taken me 10, 20, 30 seconds to lower my body down, and another 5 seconds to raise my body up. Just very slow, very deliberate, with my mind focusing on my strength and growing that strength. So I know you can grow that strength. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, head to my website, healingwolfcoaching.com. You can book a free consult call where we will strategize your recovery, get you on my calendar, and accelerate this whole process. I've gotten so many clients back to a full and vibrant life where they're out doing everything they want, hiking, traveling, in relationships, dancing, living the dream of this life on earth, which is your birthright. And I know you can get back to it, and I'm ready to help. So reach out, and I'll see you soon.